our last fully padded practice before Saturday's game. Physical practices on Tuesdays and Wednesdays are, and we made that clear up front that Tuesday and Wednesdays were going to be the heavy workload days, working every situation, and making sure that our rotations fit. You know, what we described the other day in the depth chart, so that competition remains alive to give us a chance to assess today and tomorrow and see who gets out there first when the ball's rolled out on Saturday.
Dylan Mitchell read no contact today. What's his status for Saturday?
No contact. You know, yesterday he got a little bit dinged up. You know, I think upper body tweak or one of those things. But we don't think it's anything serious. So we expect to be full go on Saturday.
Because he was out there with the first team, looked like, during some of those early media viewing periods. So clearly he's okay to take part somewhat.
Sure seems like it, but you know, regardless of how minor or how serious an injury it may be, we always take some type of precaution to make sure it's not bad. But we feel really good about him on Saturday.
In one of those early drills, you were getting after your lineman a little bit. It basically seemed like you weren't happy with what they were showing you. Focus, effort, is this where you like it to be this close to game day?
It just, you know, I mean, nothing less than your very best is going to be good enough. It's just not, okay? And we see it all over the country every single week, and we have to have that mindset, and we're not going to accept anything else. And practicing good or just practicing better it's still not enough. So we want to make that clear. We want to make sure we coach with intensity, with passion. That's not going to stop. And I think our guys do get it, but you know, there's a reason that we wear the funny shorts and the whistles around our neck, right? We're there to motivate, we're there to challenge and push. And sometimes, you know, when guys have had a couple hard practices in a row, it demands that, you know, as a coach. And as a coach, you've got to be able to confront, demand your players with respect and with positivity, but with juice and energy to make sure you do it the right way.
Jalen Red and Johnny Johnson are the two true freshmen at receiver last year, and then both are listed on your starting list. You obviously see those guys taking on a bigger role, and where do you see them kind of fitting into what you guys want to do in the passing game?
Well, I gotta say, Jalen Red has had you know, I know he missed a couple days with injury. He's had an outstanding camp. Explosive. Not only, you know, last year was mostly a rocket sweep guy. We really feel he's become more of a complete wide receiver, both inside and outside. I mean, we've moved around all over the field, and he could handle it mentally. Very sharp, tremendous competitor. Part of the part that sticks out most about him is that the DNA, you know, the stuff he's made of is what you want. He gets after it. He's fearless. He's been dynamic with the ball in his hands, so we expect him to take another step, and our offense to be better because of him. And Johnny the same way. Johnny is a relentless competitor, you know, and you know, the best part about those two guys is that they enjoy being challenged. They enjoy being pushed, and you could coach them hard, and they want that. They want to be in a position where they have to test themselves on a daily basis, and they've made our offense better.
You're still working a lot of guys in the lineup. Is there a meeting, whether it's Friday night or Saturday morning, you say, okay, this is when we decide who's getting the first reps?
Absolutely. You want the exact day and time? Okay. It's yeah, of course. And I think this is, you know, throughout the entire time, we always make our players aware of, look, this is where you're at, this is what you have to do to change that, or this is what you have to do to maintain that. So there's always clarity in our communication, so that, you know, regardless of whether there's an agreement or disagreement, there's respect. And that's all you could ask for, right? When you work this hard together, you want that to be at the forefront of everything you do, and it is. And you know, and situations involving depth chart moves always demands that. It commands that, right? So that there's always just that open line and understanding to be able to go from there to the next step, which is, hey, we don't want it to stay like this. We want it to stay like this, where both guys or all three guys are continuing to push to try to grab that spot. And really, it's the only way to get better. And we have enough at a couple positions to make that a reality. So we're really going to push the envelope of that.
Did you sense last year that there was a point where the team really started following Justin, or is that this year where he's kind of commanded the whole room?
I think both. I think last year it shows, and it shows early. You know, and you also had a guy like Royce. I mean, Royce. And you see what he's doing now in the preseason. I think, I mean, of course he was valued, but I think whenever a guy like that goes on to the next level and you see what he's doing, you really start to realize, wow, that was a special player at a special time. So, but Justin is that kind of a guy, and he commands that from his teammates. They're all about, you know, their quarterback, and just as important, they're about each other. So I think that's really helped Justin become more of a vocal leader, more of an outspoken guy.
You had a chance to look at Bowling Green. What do you see from their quarterback, Dodge?
So ever since he got put in there, it changed what they've been offensively, because I'm not sure what they averaged before he became the quarterback, and I know he was injured kind of halfway through. They've averaged 35-plus points since he's been in there. And he's helped by the fact that those wide receivers that they have are long, athletic, explosive guys, and they get the ball out quick. They don't let that pass rush really affect them. So they get it out quick. They take their shots. They're going to go get the 50-50 balls, or they're going to take pass interference penalties and move the sticks. But they have a really good split zone, inside zone, outside zone game with a running back that we feel is a great football player. He's a downhill slasher type guy that'll make you miss and can go. He can break the big runs and make a lot of hay out of that. But he runs behind a big offensive line with a lot of experience. So we expect them to have, they have their set offensive line, but you could see that they've had those guys move to different pieces or to different positions, and there's a lot of cohesion there. So they've got a really good offensive team.
A lot of Justin's progression has been about becoming a vocal leader. It also sounds like Jake Hansen has had a similar progression to become a leader. What have you seen on him vocally with the offensive line?
Well, it's such a blessing when you come into a program and there's a center of his caliber there, because that guy at the line of scrimmage has to have the best presence along with a quarterback of anybody. And it's ironic that you mentioned that. The two guys that have to speak the most on every play are now speaking the most outside of just a play-by-play or the football field basis. The guy leads by example. The guy's all about doing it right. There's no give in with him. It's hard to find chinks and flaws in his armor, in his makeup, in his regimen. The guy's, he's a real deal student athlete, competitor. I mean, that's what he is, and he brings that to the table, and it's infectious and contagious throughout the entire offensive line room and the offense.
Mario, what's the pregame routine like for you? Are you gonna sleep Friday night, or are you working all the way up to kickoff, or feel like the work's done?
We work.
Now?
You really never get to kind of sit back and enjoy the game until the season's over. I mean, really doing it right. And the guys that I've worked with, that's what you always do, right? The guys you work with is kind of what you dive into, and if you like it, you go with it. I mean, you're working every second of the game. Every second of it, there's a set of eyes assigned to a certain part of the field that demands some type of correction, some type of adjustment. So it's the right kind of work. It's passion work. It's enjoyable work. And I know I'm not answering the question the right way, but that's about as good as I can do with it.
Coach, back in July, you mentioned that Justin had put on all of this extra weight and that was going to help with the durability going into this year. From what you've seen so far in fall camp going into week one, does it feel like that confidence you had back in July conference meet today has been confirmed about that extra weight and how durable he's kind of become since last year?
Well, he's increased his ability to come to balance, to redirect. There's gonna be times where he's gonna take a hit, right? Whether he's got to tuck the ball and run, on some type of protection that breaks down, or something that might be in there as part of the scheme. And when you dedicate yourself like that to the weight room and you add that extra body armor like he has, you feel confident that he's ready to to take on the shots and the blows that come with our regimen. So I mean, it's the best that you can do, right? Prepare yourself in that way, and he's eager to get after it, and he's one of those quarterbacks that unfortunately he loves contact. Sometimes it gets him going, but we have taught him that contact for a quarterback isn't particularly great. So learn how to slide a little bit more and whatnot. But yeah, the guy's ready. The guy's ready, and he's really dialed in and focused, and all he cares about is making sure this team has success.
How do you feel like guys?
You mentioned sliding back in July as well. Do you think he's gotten better at that over the course of this fall camp?
I think so. I mean, he's a conscientious guy, and he understands that as much as he wants to go and take on a defender, it's best for the team for him to, when he's got the yards that he needs, to go ahead and live to play the next play.
How do you think guys have embraced this practice format the last couple of days, mixing the stuff versus scouts and then going good on good as much as you are?
Absolutely, that's a great question. We go good on good every single day, and the reason for that is because the whole iron sharpens iron mentality and philosophy. And it's a little bit different than we did last year, but it's important for our guys to work speed on speed, our best players against our best players every single day, even if it's not the same scheme. At some point in time, you have to block, you have to tackle, you have to throw and catch, you have to cover, you have to go and run by guys, and that gives us an opportunity to stay sharp, right? To stay sharp as it relates to the highest possible intensity we could play with. So they've embraced it. It's a different kind of practice, for them, but it's one that when you leave here on Wednesday, you should be fully confident that come Saturday, you're as prepared as you possibly can be for the game.
Got time for a couple more? Yeah, are both sides running your own stuff in those periods? Do you have the good guys doing being scouts kind of? Like, will you have your one defense running Bowling Green stuff
No, that we will not do. When we go good on good, we're running our stuff, absolutely. It's kind of like, hey, how's it going, man? Been a little while, right? We used to go against each other every day. Now we're going against the scouts. Now, it's good to have Jake Hansen and Jordan get after it. It's good to have Jalen Jelks and Justin Hollins go against, Calvin Throckmorton and test themselves and push themselves on a daily basis. Even if it's just for 12, 10, 12 plays, it's really good for us.
You mentioned, I think, 85, 90, 95 plays a game. Why is that why is that important to run that many plays in a game?
Well, it shows a couple of things. It would mean that we're running the kind of tempo that we want to run. And number two would mean that, our defense is getting us the ball back on a pretty consistent basis. So we think it's a great formula, just analyzing it over the course of the years. And it seems like the right number to be at. Now, is it exact? I can't promise that. And there might be some days we're in the hundreds and some days that we're in the 70s. But we think it's an important part of the formula as it relates to tempo.